What's up, fight fans? And we are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin. And where do all fights start? They start at round one. So we have a big show for you today. We're going to talk about one of the biggest fights upcoming. Besides Saul Canelo Alvarez, which isn't it? It's a big fight in itself. Not quite the fighter we want him to see, but we'll take it. But I'm talking about the one and only Naoya, the monster Inoue versus Luis Pantera Naris. This will be taking place in Japan in the Tokyo Arena. This is a really big fight. It's for an undisputed status. All four belts are on the line. Let's dive right in and break down both fighters. And I'm going to give you my assessment of what I believe. Here at Round One Sports Talk, we're never biased. We're not have no favoritism towards any boxer. We're strictly a boxing channel and we're not biased. So we give you um, great insight on the fights. So let's get right into this video and let's talk about these two fighters. Now, Naoya Inoue is a Japanese fighter. He comes from Japan. I'm gonna pull up his record. Uh, he has 26 fights, 23 big ways by knockouts, and he's never been defeated. He's never been knocked down in his career. He is 31 years of age right now. He's 5'5", and he has a 67-inch arm reach. He has gone 156 rounds in his professional career, and he currently held all four major sanctioning bodies, meaning he has the WBO, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA. He has all four belts. And I believe he's the Ringside Magazine. I have to check on that as well. I'm not sure. He's jumped up throughout so many weight divisions, and we're going to get to that. This Japanese fighter, when I first came across him, uh, we're in the lower weight divisions, 115, 118. I came across him around 118. I didn't, I had to go back and look at his fights earlier than that. When I heard about him, I was a little bit skeptical. Japanese fighter, man, we hear it all the time, don't we? And I was starting to pay attention when he entered the World Series of Boxing. If you don't know what that is that when a lot of fighters enter to this tournament to compete for the Covenant Muhammad Ali Trophy. It's a prestigious award in boxing. It's a tournament where kind of winner takes all. All men come in there, some come in with belts, and the last man standing walks away with everything. So when he entered this tournament, I looked him up. And the Japanese superstar, in fact, in his native Japan, he had competed and tried out for his Olympic team. And he didn't make his Olympic team. Apparently, they had their eyes on someone else. So he wasn't even good enough to make his Olympic team. So he turns pro at the young age of 19 years old. And right from the opening gate, the Japanese superstar, his very first opponent, was a professional fighter that had a record of 16 fights, 4 losses, right, and 1 draw. 16 fights. His very first fighter he's ever fought over. He was already, getting himself established. 16 professional fights. Okay, it was a scheduled 8-round fight. Typically, when your fighter turns pro, they start off with a 4-round fight, a 6-round fight. He started off his professional debut with an 8-round fight. In fact, he only fought 2 8-round fights, 2 10-round fights, and the remaining of his fights were all 12-round fights. Not a lot of fighters have ever done that in their professional career. Not even men like this. Floyd had a lot of fights scheduled between 8 and 6 round fights and 10 round fights before he started embarking on 12 round fights. You know, those are title fights when you go basically, or title eliminators, things like that. That's when you're already established as a fighter and you show that you can go that and that your style will sustain for 12 rounds. Okay. By his sixth professional fight, he had became a world champion. And he became a world champion. Who was it? Adrian Hernandez. He had beat Adrian Hernandez for the WBC flyweight title. And in only 8 fights, he became two division world champion. When he came into the World Series of Boxing for the Muhammad Ali Trophy, he entered that tournament, right? And the first man in the tournament was Payano. He knocked Payano out with a 1-2 combination within like a little bit over a minute in the first round. He stretched him. It was amazing. But at that point, I really didn't think that, okay, you knocked someone out. Then he came up against Emmanuel Rodriguez, and I know that Emmanuel Rodriguez is championship quality of opponent. Uh, Emmanuel Rodriguez came into that fight undefeated, 19-0. He was the IBF champion coming into this fight. He had never been down in his career. The Japanese superstar brutalized him. I believe he knocked him down 3 times in that fight. And the referee called a halt to the action in the second round. He couldn't take no more. That's all it took to beat that kind of champion. He was really showing that he was above levels from everyone else, but there were still people out there doubting his skills. The Japanese superstar, like many that are real small, guys don't really think they are who they are. They didn't really think that this Japanese dude was him. No one thought that. So he soon moves up to the 118, and in the 118-pound weight division is where he really made the most noise. He went and chased down each champion one by one, and he fought them all for their belts. Kudos to the last champion, Paul Butler. He did not play keep away with that belt. Many people were telling Paul Butler he was outgunning that fight, and he still wanted to test it. That's the kind of man that I can say that really put it all on the line, Paul Butler. Because Paul Butler didn't have to fight that Japanese dude. He didn't. The Japanese guy was so surprised. He said, "Yeah, oh, you want the? Yes, I'll give you a shot at my 3." He knew he had him. The world knew he had him. But Paul Butler was the type of champion. He's from the show me state. You're going to have to show me. And he had a chance at all 4 belts on that night, too. When he got into the ring with the Japanese superstar after the fight, Paul Butler was interviewed. And he talked about the Japanese superstar's presence in the ring. He saw his confidence, and not only his confidence, but his ring IQ, the way he fought, and the technician that he was, combined with power. He was outskilled, out outthought, and outgunned. Paul Butler is a great fighter in his own right. He does take care of business. In fact, many of these men that tasted defeat to the Japanese superstar became champion later on in their career. Again, that's how good his competition was. Usually, those men lose or beat, they retire, quit, they never become a champion again. No, his competition was so good. Had it not been for him, they'd be champions still. Nobody else was beating them guys. And they went and got their belts back after he vacated and moved up. Once he vacated and moved up, I want you to pay attention to this because this is really where he starts to separate himself from everyone else. There's only one boxer out there, Mr. Terence Bud Crawford. He was the first man in boxing history to successfully unify all four belts in two separate weight divisions. Truly a remarkable feat, right? When Terence Crawford, for instance, got all the belts at 140 pounds, it took him a little over 2.5 years, almost 3 years to do that. When he went after Errol Spence Jr., it took him almost 6.5 years to unify all four belts, due to largely in part to the fact that he was chasing Errol Spence Jr. He was coming off car accidents, and he had a massive gap where a lot of inactivity. So he was kind of on the shelf. That's not all due to him. Had you given him the same opportunity, I think Terence Crawford would have did it a lot faster. But the Japanese superstar really captivated on his opportunities. He solidified all four belts within 6 months. You heard that correctly. This microphone is not broken. Not a year. He got all four belts within 6 months. Truly remarkable. In fact, throughout his career, there might be a handful of rounds that he's ever lost in any of his matches. He only has 26 fights, and he currently has four weight divisions. I want to remind you that Devin Haney was the undisputed champion at 135 pounds, and he went up to 140 pounds, just one weight division. He moved up one weight division. Okay, he was successful on captivating a title, the WBC, against Regis Progress. Um, In his very next fight, he was defeated against Ryan Garcia that just took place the other night. And he looked like a really small guy in there. He only moved up one weight division. That was it. And a lot of people said it's really difficult to get acclimated to a division. He needed to fight a few of the 140 pounders to really see and feel out their power. Learn what it's like to fight against bigger men. That's just one weight division. And if you're thinking about Devin Haney's fighting the bigger guys, no, that's not true because he's also that size. He's in the divisions that he fights. So just like Devin Haney's size, those guys are the same size. Just like he's in a weight division and he moves up, same thing, right? He has four weight division. He's never had a tune-up fight in between as well. He's coming up against this is going to be his 23rd consecutive world title fight in a row. His last 9 fights going into this one would be nine, will be for two belts or more. In his last 9 fights, he's only fought for two belts or more. Yeah, he's a serious type champion. He's doing stuff that most fighters dream about, they fantasize about. You sit in bed and you think, man, I would like to get all four belts in one weight division. Bump that. I'll vacate those and move up and grab another four. That's That's wishful thinking. That's dreaming. Men like Terence Crawford and Naoya Inoue are actually doing these type of things. It's reported now that Terence Crawford, in fact, is moving up to the 154-pound weight division now. And he's soon to challenge the WBC champion Israel up there. They tried to make it for the WBO that Sebastian Fundora recently acquired against Tim Zhu, but the WBO heard out Sebastian's case and the injuries that he sustained in that fight, like the broken nose, and he's saying I wouldn't be ready to fight Terence Crawford anyway. You see, not only am I suspended to September, but I'm also nursing these injuries. I'm going to need a little time. and they heard his case and they sided with him. So they're not going to strip Sebastian Fundora. No. But what they're going to try to do is make this fight with Terence Crawford for the WBO interim as well. I'm not sure if Terence Crawford would accept it, but he's done a lot of business with the WBO. Maybe he grabs that and they actually grant them the fight, the mandatory, and that gets him even a step closer. You know, um, it's up to him. What's talked about behind closed doors. I'm not there. So that I don't know. Just like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Many people are wondering why is he remaining the champion? Because technically, if your opponent misses weight, you still stand to be able to lose the belt. He might not stand to win it, but that belt will become vacant in most situations. It had to be that when they went back and notified and talked to Devin Haney, because legally, by law, they have to speak to Devin Haney about Ryan Garcia coming in 3.5 pounds overweight. So they had to give him the option if he wanted to continue. Because at that point, right at that point, Devin Haney could have said, you know what? I'm not fighting him. Not only is Devin Haney getting paid, he's going to remain the champion, but the fight fans and everybody that paid their money to come out, everybody put a bet on gambling sites, everybody would have been pissed. That would have been there's been men in history that's done exactly that move. Okay. So Devin Haney said, okay, he must have said, I wasn't there. Don't hold me on this, but maybe it was like this. He said, okay, I'll take the fight, but win, lose, or draw, I remain champion. And they said yes. They say yes. That was probably one of his stipulations on taking the fight with Ryan Garcia, coming in 3.5 pounds overweight. He probably said, yeah, I'll still go through with it, but win, lose, or draw, I remain champion. They said, bet. That's why he's still champion. That is exactly why he's still champion. Because things like that, because he still had the right to pull out and get paid. Okay. But, um, where does Ryan Garcia go from here? He's got to move up to 147 pounds. If you were paying close attention to everything that was said on the way out of the fight, post fight interviews, and when Ryan Garcia was walking out to his car, Ryan Garcia, on more than one occasion, shot down the notion that there would ever be a rematch between him and Devin Haney. And I don't really think Devin Haney wants that smoke just yet. Just like Errol Spence Jr. didn't really enforce the rematch against Terence Crawford, and I believe that was the right thing to do. I don't think you should go in the ring with the guy that just gave you your worst beating of your career. Okay. So, you know, um, there's a lot of options for both men where they go from here. I can tell you that I don't see a rematch because one, Devin Haney's not going to fight him at a catch weight. For what? There's no belt. For pride? To give Ryan Garcia another opportunity to bust your ass even heavier. That's what you want, right? And that would be totally up to him, but that's what it would be for. He wouldn't be honoring any mandatories for that belt that he had, or if anybody puts in paperwork, right? Because it's not going to be at 140 because Ryan Garcia, if you pay close attention, admitted he couldn't make the weight. He said, shit, my last fight I came in 143 too. I couldn't make 140 then. I couldn't make it now. I knew I wasn't going to make this weight. He said it. And that was part of his tragedy. You see? So I don't see Devin Haney fighting him anytime soon, but Devin Haney has a lot of problems right now because right now the 140-pound weight division is looking at him like food. They think he's sweet now. Yeah. Devin Haney still has skills, and if you put a boxer in front of him, he's gonna box well. But he still has flaws he has to work on. He's gonna that's up to him. As far as the Japanese superstar and Luis Pantera Nares, let me tell you guys something. Getting a phone call for 4 belts is not granted every day. right? And Luis Pantera Nares is a Mexican fighter, right? Listen, this guy, for some reason, he's like he defies odds sometimes, man. This Mexican dude, he look, Luis Nares has 35 fights, 27 big ways by knockout. He only has one loss. In fact, the loss came to Brandon Figueroa when Brandon Figueroa beat him. We'll talk more about that. Okay. So, um, he's 29 years old. He's 5'5". He has a 65-inch reach advantage. Okay. Now, the one interesting thing about this opponent in particular, if you're not familiar with the background story and why Luis Pantera Nares is here, seeing being the fact that he hasn't fought or competed for a world title in quite some time. The last ones were for a WBC silver super bantamweight in the WBO interim continental. You know, um, those are interim titles, and why is he here? Well, once upon a time, Luis Pantera Nares ventured out to Japan. And at the time, Japan had a rising boxing superstar, which was the WBC champion. Luis Pantera Nares went out to Japan and played spoiler, and boy did he. And he pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year by beating the Japanese dude. But hold up, wait a minute. There's more. Luis Pantera Nares tested positive for PEs. When later they looked into the type of PE that he was caught for, that kind of PE is for cutting weight. It kills the fat out of your body, speeds up your metabolism. You be able to work out longer, sweat more, things like that. And fighters use that to slim down, but it doesn't really give you an advantage as far as strength, eye to eye coordination, nothing like that. The P that he got popped for didn't give him an advantage. So technically, he really beat that Japanese superstar, but they were upset. The WBC strips him for the belt. And then Luis Pantera Nares had a fight in between, and then they called him back out to Japan, and they wanted him to fight for the vacant WBC title against their Japanese superstar once again. And in this fight, Luis Pantera Nares came in 5 pounds overweight. Ryan Garcia came in 3.5 pounds overweight, and Luis Pantera Nares came in a whopping 5 pounds overweight. The Japanese superstar, Lewis, was notified by the WBC that he didn't stand to win the belt on that night, but the Japanese guy did. Lewis went in there and knocked him out in like the second round. Listen, they had to escort that man out of there. Japan was so enraged with the two losses that they banned Luis Pantera Nares from Japan for the rest of his life. They banned him indefinitely. Yes, you heard that. They didn't give him a 6 months ban, a year, shit, a 6 year ban. No, they gave him a lifetime ban. And if you don't know this, for smaller guys, that's like their New York City, their Las Vegas, out there in Japan, the Philippines. For smaller weight divisions, that's where you want to go fight across seas. Because it's not really big in America, the little weight divisions, but you can make a living across seas. By banning him in Japan, that's cutting all his opportunities damn near in half. That man can't eat. So lo and behold, Japan had a real one in Naoya Inoue. And as he was coming up, Japan was seeing his rise. And he finally got to that weight limit where their previous Japanese fighter was dethroned, 122 pounds, right? Up there, up that way. So this Japanese fighter and his dad, Ingo, petitioned the Japanese Boxing Association to lift the ban off of Luis Pantera Nares to allow him to fight him in Japan. They said yes. They feel like they're going to get their get backs to Mexico. Because Mexico left there not once but twice on the plane laughing all the way to the bank the last time, they met when all the chips were on the table, so to speak. But I really believe that Japan has a real one in this guy right here. Set aside Japanese, American, Mexican. This Naoya Inoue is a fighter. He is truly one of the best boxers we have today, if not the best. And I stand on it. He was criticized for giving Devin Haney a little bit of of his opinion that he didn't feel that he fought with that tenacity, that samurai spirit, that, moving for the kill type thing. That he was a little bit too cautious with his opponent. Take chances, take risk. Look, look, you see? This Japanese superstar, if he has you hurt or you wobble just slightly in front of him, just know any fighter that will come up against him, if you're ever hurt and you're standing in front of him, be ready because your chances and your moments are going to come. He's going to give you an opportunity to hit him. Yes, he is. He's been caught coming in a few times against his guy that he had hurt, and he takes that. He's willing to take your shot to land his. He's not going to let off, and if you've never seen any of his fights, I encourage you go to watch some of his highlights. Maybe perhaps it'll, encourage you to watch some of his fights. He's very fluent in his movement. His jab is used for many different things. It's used for as a rangefinder. It's used for to set up other punches. It's used as a hard jab. It's used as a hooking. He has everything in the arsenal. This Japanese superstar, and it's gonna take a special kind of fighter to stop him because now once he unified all four belts at 122. Going into this fight against Luis Pantera Nares, all he has to do is defend them. Then he goes into a small category of men and women that have successfully defend all four belts. Now that's a different room entirely, right? Where he goes from here. I'm not gonna look past Luis Pantera Nares because we have a fight May 6th. It's gonna be in the Tokyo Arena, historical arena. In fact, that's where Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas fought at, and Mike Tyson was dethroned there by the underdog Buster Douglas. Could this be another Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas type situation? We got the big puncher like Mike Tyson, and we got the heavily favored underdog like Buster Douglas as in Luis Pantera Nares in this building in the Tokyo Arena. It's like Japan wants him to lift the curse or something, you know? When they had their Godzilla or whatever you want to describe Mike Tyson coming to their city and he was dethroned. No one was expecting that. You see? So Lewis really stands to win a lot. If you sit back and you really think about his situation, shit, four belts, yo, that stamps your ticket to the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. There are men and women in the Boxing Hall of Fame that have never achieved that. So if you can get all four belts on one night and someone gave you a phone call and an opportunity at a crack at four belts, bro, it's like fighting Canelo. They call it the sweepstakes, don't they? Because that's exactly what that is. No man and woman wants to give you a crack at four belts, what it took them a lifetime to achieve. And here you come on one night and you get it all? Hmm. There's no bigger prize in all of boxing to win all four in one night. Lewis, if he was to pull this off, he would go down in history as pulling off one of the biggest upsets, bigger than Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. It would be bigger than that. Yes, it would be. This is 4 belts, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't for 1 belt. Okay. Um, then as well, he will be the first man to take away, give Naoya Inoue his first defeat. He would take away his O. Yeah. Then he'll go down in history as being the man that slayed the monster. That everybody thought that it was, it's going to take somebody or him moving up and fighting against bigger men to beat him because he's just that good. Yo, listen, everything he stands to win on this night, it really goes to show that I believe anyway, the best version of Luis Pantera Nares we're about to try to see in Tokyo, Japan. And he's going to try to do the best he can against this Japanese superstar. What makes him so unique is a lot of things. Naoya Inoue truly can do it all. He can fight off the back foot. He can fight off the front foot. He can mix it up in the inside. He can stay on the outside. He can live in mid range. He can make adjustments in the fight. If you happen to hit him with a big shot, good luck. I don't think you're going to hit him with that same shot again. He makes reads that a lot of fighters still struggle with. If every man and woman could make the kind of reads he's making on his opponent, oh wow. The things that he's doing is really some high level shit, you know, um and his ability to take the other fighter's game plan and use that against them is truly remarkable thing to watch. His punching power is out of this world. Not a lot of men have been able to survive his onslaught. And the weird thing is, like, you know, the way he's taking his power with him throughout the division. Sometimes men move up, but they lose a little bit of power, or they can't move those bigger guys the way they would like to. Naoya Inoue seems to not like have a cheat code in boxing because he's moving up, right? And here's the thing. When Floyd moved up, he used the tune-up fight in between before he would challenge the champion, right? Okay. This guy, his tune-up fights, he was challenging the champion himself. They were like, yo, you don't have to fight him right away. You could take a lesser, opponent and build your way up to the champion. This guy turns around and is like, no, I want the champion. And damn it, make sure he's the best champion you have. Out of the 4 people that's supposed to have belts, give me the best one. That's what he did. In actuality, that's exactly what he did. Stephen Kubo Fulton was the best 122 pounder in the world. He didn't have 1 belt, he had 2. He was a unified, undefeated champion, a slick style American fighter. He destroyed him. In fact, Stephen Kubo Fulton didn't win a single round. Not one. Yeah. It, wa- ah, when I sit back, what's up, guys, man? Now I've just secretly just figured out how to see your messages over here with a couple clicks. What's up, Richard? What's up, Frontline? Crying Robin, Jose, what's up? Wilfredo, what's up? Eric, what's up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What's up, guys? Listen, you know, um, this is a really big fight for Naoya Inoue because I've told you since the beginning of this year of 2024, my theme for the year was be prepared to watch your favorite fighter lose. After the explosion we had in 2023, okay? And I said that 2025 is going to be an even bigger year in boxing The thing was, is that as soon as I saw the explosion in boxing, I quickly realized that some of them champions were in the right situation at the right time, and some of them were pushed along. And I knew that some of these champions were going to fall. That's where I was basing my analysis, where I was saying, be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose this year. Because I knew fighters like Rolly, Devin, in fact, because when you think of Devin's situation, you think of his success. You see the belts, and you can't deny that. But he was emailed one belt, and he fought one guy for three. And was the guy that he fought for three considered the best 135 pounder in the world? George Camboza? No, he beat one guy for three. You see? And like I knew one way or another they were gonna either fall or shock the world and show that they belong. And I was prepared to see that. Now in 2025 is when you're gonna see the best what boxing has to offer. It's gonna be a clash of the young guns and the reigning champions. What do I mean by that? You see all these top prospects moving up right now? Camille Moten, Abdullah Madison, Xander Zion. You see them all. All those kids are going to start moving up. Then you have some of the old dogs that still have unfinished business. Your Jerron Boots Ennis, he wants his fight. David the Monster Benavides, he wants his fight. See what I'm saying? There's going to be a huge clash 2025 in boxing. And when all the smoke clears, we will definitely have real world champions. I believe at that point is where we're going to get back to the height of boxing, where I come from. The marvelous Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sweepy Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I was spoiled. There were a lot of Oscar De La Hoya. There were a lot of men. Bernal Harpington, Felix Tito Trinidad. There were a lot of men in there that thank you um that I was spoiled with that much rich talent. I was spoiled. Now that was a pure era in boxing, and I believe now we're coming full circle. There was a point in time in boxing where that I didn't even I wasn't paying attention anymore. But with the talent that we have today, oh, boxing looking good. As long as some of these kids coming up pay attention, real close attention that what just took place to one of their brothers American fighters when you stay stagnant in your career. Devin Haney had reached a point, and it seems like when he didn't sign with Mayweather, they kind of like stopped the training on the kid. His training was not complete unless he signed, right? Devin took what he got from some of those gyms, and basically his father mentor, tutor, coached him. But at this level, that's not good enough anymore. Devin Haney has the skills to be that kind of fighter. So I believe that Bill has to get his son that kind of world class training, that kind of world class coach. If they want to give his son the best chances to win, because it seems like he got to a certain level and now he's just staying in shape. That's not good enough anymore. People have studied you, Devin Haney. They're starting to see your flaws and you haven't corrected any of them. So Devin Haney, he really needs, dust himself off. You lose, you lose. You know, you know, for as much as fighters like Mayweather helped the sport, and he, pioneer. He's a legend, and I take nothing from Floyd Mayweather. And if this is the first time you're ever hearing me, don't take me being critical to a fighter as me trying to like bash a fighter or put him down. I don't dislike any fighter in boxing, but I am critical on it, right? And and I'll break things down. But, Devin Haney tries to live that persona like a Mayweather, walking around with the bodyguards and everything. But it's one thing to look, appeal to the image, but it's another thing to be in that gym like Mayweather was. Everybody, not one person ever said anything different about Mayweather. All they would say about him was his relentless work ethic and his level of dedication in the gym. He might have played it off and, his ultra ego, whenever he had a fight scheduled, the gold chains came on and the shit talking went. Later on, after his career is over, many people realized what he was doing. And they were like, oh shit, he was really selling those fights. And as you can see, when he doesn't have a fight schedule, what kind of man he is. No chains, nothing. A family man. You know what I mean? Doing what he has to do. And you know, um, Devin Haney really, it's one thing to be young and sucked into this allure that this is an image you also have to give. You can't forget what got you there, what brought you to the dance. Hard work and dedication. Always be a student to the game. Never stop learning. Continue to push yourself, not just to go into the next camp with shit you learned and stay there. Your competition is getting better and you're staying exactly where you are. No, you have to evolve. You have to learn how to adapt and to really get someone to break down your opponent, to realize when things are not going wrong in the fight, to make the proper adjustments for you to start winning the fight and coming back in the fight. You see? So, that's why I talk about fighters as a whole, a well rounded, well polished fighter like this man right here, like men like Terence Crawford. We're about to see how polished Tank Davis really is. And it speaks volumes on how good Tank Davis truly is when um um Devin Haney just took that massive ass whooping by Ryan Garcia. Yeah. When Tank Davis survived Ryan Garcia's punches and he was able to knock him out with a body shot. And he got under that shot. He knew how to make adjustments. Him and Ryan, as a matter of fact, I dare you. I double dog dare you. Yes, I went high school playground on you. Yes, I did. If you go back and watch the Tank Davis fight and watch the fight against Devin Haney, Tank Davis fought the better version of those two Ryan Garcias. Tank Davis did. Ryan can say all he wants about depleting and showing those pictures with the abs. All I really see is a in shape, focused Ryan Garcia. That's what I see. And I see the same shape, same size Tank Davis, and even a shorter man than Devin Haney. So he's actually littler. And when I went back and I watched the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight versus the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight, Ryan Garcia was boxing, fighting, moving better in the Tank fight than he was in the Devin Haney fight. In the Devin Haney fight, all he did was brawl. That's it. In the Tank fight, he was utilizing his jab. He was utilizing his footwork. He was ducking underneath shit Tank was throwing. He was punching when Tank was punching. He was doing a lot more shit in that Tank fight than he had to do in the Devin Haney fight. He basically just blunted Devin Haney. And it goes to show you when he tried to do that same tactic to Tank, that's how you fight power. And then apply your punches. Tank Davis was parrying his jab. He was blocking his jab. He was hitting to the body. He was giving a movement. And Tank was fighting angles. Devin didn't do none of that. Devin stood in front of him like this and was trying to do the jab and trying to do that lunging hook shot. It seemed like that's all he had. And then he would throw the 1-2 occasionally. Ryan Garcia was leaning back and catching him with the check hook. It goes to show you that Tank Davis's ring IQ is a lot higher than what people give him credit for. Yeah, he hasn't been in the ring with those kind of opponents, but styles make fights, and every style you put in front of Tank Davis, so far he's figured it out. So this is a big fight against Frank the Ghost Martin because for one of the first times in a long time in Tank Davis's career, he's going to be fighting a guy equally, if not more athletic. Frank the Ghost Martin really opposes a real athletic threat as far as athleticism, which means I think he's going to be able to last the fight and he's going to be able to move with Tank Davis, right? Okay. Now, as far as boxing goes, I think Tank Davis is the better boxer. And he's also, from me, the better counterpuncher. Frank the Ghost Martin did beat Ali Rivera, but I did notice the way he beat him was because when you gave Ali something, he shelled up and he went back, which created opportunities for Frank the Ghost Martin. Frank the Ghost Martin was good when his volume and he was applying pressure that Rivera had to cover up. There was exchanges that they did, throw, and it seemed like Frank the Ghost Martin was better to the shot. He was quicker to the shot. He was kind of beating Rivera to the punch. I mean, Rivera was getting his fair shots in there too as well, but Frank just seemed to be that much stronger on that night. Okay. So, athletic wise, and boxing wise, I haven't seen Frank the Ghost Martin come against a fighter that can crack like Tank Davis. And how is he gonna fare for the first time feeling Tank Davis's power? And when I see that, I'll be able to tell you more, but that's what I would like to see. You know, um uh as far as both fighters got a good chance, but I still give the slighter edge to Tank Davis. Tank Davis has never given me a reason to doubt him. When you can blimp this guy up and push him all the way out to 140 pounds, he was a puffball. He looked like a little meatball, right? He has no abs, nothing. He was at 140 fighting Mario Barrio, bro. And is it me or he didn't slow down not even a little bit. The speed was there, the power was there, his twitch much movement was there. Um he didn't look concerned in the fight. He handled the bigger man's power just fine. He got cracked by Mario Barrio. In fact, Mario Barrio was winning the fight and Tank knocked him out. You know, so it showed that Tank can fight with guys, and he's already fought and was successful to win an interim champion at 140 pounds. Moving back to 135, I've been watching some of his videos. Yo, he got abs now. He looks really focused, and I hope he is. No wonder Devin Haney never fought Tank Davis. Tank Davis would have killed that dude. This really exposed a big flaw in Devin Haney's fight. That's why probably a lot of these fights didn't materialize because unless you wasn't going to box him, which Tank Davis wasn't going to box him, he was going to be 2, 3 steps ahead of him. He was going to set him up, set up traps, and then Devin Haney was going to hit him with his big shot. But I think Tank Davis would have knocked out Devin Haney. I don't think Ryan Garcia, he didn't when he had Devin Haney hurt, he didn't give himself the proper distance. He just went in there just like on anger, just thrusting punches. It wasn't something where he was trying to set up the punch. He had Devin Haney in the 7th round in all kinds of trouble. All Garcia had to do was breathe, stay in the outside a little. Devin was out on his feet. A 1-2, 1-2, and then bang, 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 bang. Fight would have been over. Instead, he allowed himself to lunge himself forward, and in that momentum, Devin grabbed him. Would grab him all the time and clinch. Just don't let Devin grab you. Say, give yourself distance. If Ryan just gave himself distance and just pieced him from the outside like this, fight was over. But in the minute in the middle of everything, you're inside of the ring, everybody's yelling, everything seems to be going fast or slow motion. He jumped up on the corner. He thought he won. He jumped back down. The referee was telling him to continue. He looked at him, was like, he might have got an adrenaline dump. That's happened when you think you won a fight and you turn around and the fight's still continuing. You on the ropes while you were celebrating, you're like thanking your lucky stars that it was over with, and you release the fighter out of you. And then you got to turn them back on. You got to turn them back on. Some guys don't know how to turn them back on. Yeah. Um, so, yeah. Look, fight fans, we have a big fights coming up in May. We got Saul Canelo Alvarez going to start off May 4th against Jaime Munguia. That's going to be a good fight. As it goes for experience wise, I give the slight edge to Saul Canelo Alvarez. I respect him still as a champion. His champion status comes with a lot of controversy. I understand that, but he is who he is. And Jaime Munguia is not fighting controversy. Jaime Munguia is not fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez's name. Jaime Munguia is actually fighting Saul Canelo Alvarez, and he better train as such, or this can be a really short night. And you could have given Saul Canelo Alvarez what he wanted, what he desperately claims for, the knockout. If he can get a knockout and then entice David Benavidez to come back down and get that $1 billion fight. See, Saul Canelo Alvarez, a lot of people give him criticism for denying the 200 million, but Saul Canelo Alvarez is no one's fool. He knows just 12 years ago, Floyd Mayweather sold $1 billion fight with Conor McGregor. $1 billion fight. Conor McGregor himself walked away with like $100 million. Never mind what Floyd walked away with. And Saul Canelo Alvarez is betting on the fact that he can fight David the Monster Benavidez for some money like that. So he's denying all these other offers. And even though a lot of people think he's crazy, Saul Canelo Alvarez, if he wins this fight against Jaime Munguia, all the stars are aligned for him for that $1 billion fight. And I think the Saudis will give it to him. Yeah. How much of that $1 billion he takes, I don't know. We'll find out. But I know he said no to 200 million and 100% pay-per-view buys to fight David the Monster Benavidez. And it seems like David the Monster Benavidez is tired of chasing Saul. So he's currently moving up to 175, and he's going to be fighting on the Tank Davis undercard, which I still don't have a definitive date for you on that. We also have the return of Dante Wilder, which he's going to be fighting on June 1st as well. But where the real attention is at in the heavyweight division is the Tyson Fury Usyk, which we will be getting a heavyweight champion, unified heavyweight champion in a four-belt era. We haven't had a unified heavyweight champion in quite some time, going on 20 years or so roughly around there. So it's been quite some time. So that stands to be a big night in itself for the heavyweight division. We all must keep in mind when we talk about boxing, the best belt in all of boxing is the heavyweight championship. It's the biggest belt. It's the top dog belt. Heavyweight champion is revered as the best of the best. You're the biggest man with the biggest belt. So, there are a lot of glamour divisions, and to each champion, you know, you can only be held to the division you fight in, and how good of a champion you are in your own division. Further down the line, we'll have fights in June 15th. Subriel Matias, he'll be fighting and making a title defense in Puerto Rico, in his native land, against Liam Paro. Now, Liam Paro is coming into this fight, the WBO Global Champion. And this fight right here is going to really show you two of the 140-pound weight division's best fighters in the division, where Subriel Matia is giving Liam Paro, an undefeated fighter, a shot at his IBF crown. So this is gonna be a big fight, and we're gonna see where the rest of the champions fall here now. Is Devin and Tio gonna go at it? Is he willing to fight any of the champions, or does Devin feel like he needs to get acclimated to the division? Is he gonna fight a lower fight? And which, in fact, I think he should do. To keep it funky, don't put Devin in there against Subriel. I don't care what shit talking you guys were doing, Devin. What you think you can do, don't take that fight until you feel you're ready. Eventually, yeah, you're gonna eventually run into Subriel, But for right now, no, I don't think that would be a good thing to do. So look, fight fans, uh Ryan was like a lion playing with his food. Maybe a lion in spurts. Because if he was a full fledged lion, he would have got Devin the fuck out of there. Yeah, because there was no need for Devin to be sticking around. One more knockdown, the ref would have probably stopped the fight. His father probably would have threw in the towel. Ryan Garcia did good in spurts. Whenever he decided to throw punches, he hurt Devin. He just couldn't sustain it. And he wasn't going to put himself and gas out the tank if he didn't wasn't sure for certain he could finish Devin Haney, because then that would put him in a compromising situation where he would be like fatigued so much he couldn't stop Devin Haney's punches from coming in. You see, so you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable. So something inside of Ryan, after he threw those combinations, was like, fuck, dog, I'm tired. He needed time off to recharge. A real lion would have went in there, listen, that fight was over in the seventh round. There was too much time on, fuck the point. None of that shit mattered. Ryan just needed to breathe in that moment and land his punch. Devin was out on his feet. He couldn't even stand up. How many knockdowns did the ref take away? He could have scored those knockdowns had he not been so close to Devin. He didn't need to be that close to him. He needed a little bit of distance and shoot from the outside. It was over, baby. A four-piece combination from right there, like when he knocked him, when he get hit him with that two-piece. What was it, the 10th round? When he hit him with the two-piece like that, yo, it was like boom, boom. Yo, that shit was flush. That shit, yo, you seen Devin's eye just go. Yo, I thought he was over right there. I was like, he ain't getting up from that. Yo, fucking Devin, bro, he's tough. He's tough. He's tough. He's a fighter. He is a fighter. Yo, he got up. I was like, fuck, Devin, stay down. And what I talked about in my previous video, the analogy that I gave you, that I thought Ryan was gonna take a worse beating because Devin kept calling him a quitter. But because of the fact that in those moments, I know Devin could hear himself call Ryan a quitter. Had he quit it or gave up right there, that wasn't a good look. If the entire time leading into the fight, that was basically your slogan. You're a fucking quitter. Tank Davis hit you in the stomach and you didn't get up. And now you're in a similar situation where you're badly hurt. And maybe I should pack this up right now. But he couldn't quit. He couldn't give Ryan the satisfaction of quitting in the fight. He had to get up off that ground. He knew it. He knew it. And it might have took everything he had in him. Yo, his feet weren't underneath him. He was swaying back and forth. His legs were betraying him. His defense was slow. He's thinking about everybody watching him, what his father might be thinking. All these things were probably going through his mind, and at the same time, he was thinking, "Yo, I gotta move out of the way from these punches. Oh shit, he's coming! Oh, you know." And yo, that can really wear on you as a fighter. So, listen, fight fans, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please hit the like button for me. Please, let's get these likes up. Let's see if we can get this video out there. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified when I'm dropping my next video, just click that bell icon and you will be notified. So, like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. And before I leave, let me read some of your messages because I know you guys been texting. So let me just cover them, and then I got a timeout here. What's up, Carlos? Yes, it was Carlos. Thank you. Yes, I did call that, huh? Yo, yeah, I called it. Yeah, I did, man. Yeah, there was a lot of shit talk back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But look, all the shit talking aside, the fight's over. Congratulations to Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Go back to the drawing board. There's no shame in losing in boxing. You are still a world champion and you need to defend that title. So what you do from here will really test of what you're made of and if your heart's still in the sport after defeat. So most men shy away from this. Some men come back even better of a fighter. Which man are you? And I can't leave this show without sending a shout out to Armando, my man. You are never going to be Arnando, okay? You are not Arnando. You are Armando. My man. Yo, Bobby, what's up? They take you talking shit, say he was 3 pounds over, but Haney came in 15 pounds heavier fight night. Yeah, he did because you stand to get weight, but just the weight alone ain't gonna win you the fight. What do you bring to the dance? Are you bringing power, skill? What are you bringing? Apparently, Ryan Garcia brought a sledgehammer, and Devin Haney forgot his armor. Listen, fight fans, I love you guys. Have a great night. Peace.